the next one was the news today, dude. We had some pretty big receiver news today. Amari Cooper is getting let go by the Dallas Cowboys to save $20 million in their cap space. So it looks like they're going to bring back Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz, and maybe even Cedric Wilson, that third receiver. And they can bring them all three back for the same price as Cooper. So it looks like they're going to go that route. Let CD really be that wide receiver one. So fantasy-wise, CD went up a little bit today. The Cooper, man, they talked about trading them. I don't think they're going to end up trading him because no team's going to want to give up the assets and pay him that much money. I think they're just going to wait for him to be free, and then they can negotiate on their own terms. So at that point in time, it's going to be a little bidding war for Cooper, man. It's going to be fun to see where he ends up. He's a pretty good receiver, you know. So I think, the teams that I have here for him, Cooper is a man about his money, and the Detroit Lions, they got a bunch of money. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. And they got their tight end, right? What's his name? They got their tight end, Hawkinson, right? So they just need that dude on the outside, and they got some money. And Jared Goff could actually put up some numbers, man. So I think that a team like the Lions is who I have written down, or if he wants to be petty, Washington Commanders. He can go pair up with Scary Terry. They need someone bad opposite of Scary Terry. Logan Thomas, their tight end, is always hurt, but I don't think he really cares to stick it to Dallas, and that quarterback situation is like, eh. So I think, well, so is the Lions. So either way, but I think for him, it's hard to tell where he's going to go. The other team I have is the Jags. Maybe he goes to Jacksonville because they need a young actual for their young quarterback. They need a wide receiver one that he can trust on the outside, but. Dude, for him, it's gonna be interesting. We got to keep an eye on that one because it just happened today. There's no rumors; it's just complete speculation at this point. But man, he could be a player in some of these teams. What do you guys think about Cooper situation?
I like that Detroit call, man. I do. I didn't really think about that. They have a lot of money. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a very good young receiver. I think he can be a number one receiver for a long time. Detroit has a lot of money, man. They got a lot of young players on that team too. Everybody wants to shit on them because they're so bad. Their organization has been so bad, but they got a coach in Dan Campbell, dude. He gets guys to play for him. They play hard. They may not be the most talented roster right now, but they're up and coming. You watch those games. I had the unfortunate event to watch them come into Minnesota and beat us. Actually, that game was in Detroit, but they beat us. And that team played hard. They came down. They came back from 10 down. They could have very easily gave up. Hey, we're a 2-11 team. We're going to give up. No, they don't. That team plays hard for 60 minutes, no matter what the score is. They had Green Bay beaten in the first half in Green Bay in that game until Aaron Jones scored like 3 touchdowns. But my point is that's a good point, man. Him going to Detroit because they have the money to do it. You retool Jared Goff. He's not going to be an MVP caliber player like he, kind of was when he was in LA. But you know what?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know what? He actually isn't as bad as people think he is. He's not a top 10, top 15 guy anymore. But he also didn't have the tools last year either, or the year before that, if you think about it. So that would be a good fit. If you're going to talk about the NFC East and being petty, man, okay, well, how about the Giants? Okay, so they don't really have a number one receiver. They don't at all.
They also don't have money to spend on one.
They have three. Yeah. They have 3 number 2 receivers. They don't have a number 1 receiver. So if they could find a way to get, like Josh's point, to get the money for him, that would be the fit in the NFC East. I don't see the Commanders doing it because I do think they like Scary Terry. They have other options there. They just drafted some guys last year that they were pretty high on. So I don't know if I could necessarily see that happen. What's that?
Like the first round pick, Kadarius Toney from the Giants. They just drafted.
I liked him, and then that dude, he gets, he trips and he breaks something,
they just signed Kenny Galladay. They just drafted Kadarius Toney. So that one's just hard for me, and they already have Sterling Shepard. The receiver thing isn't really the issue. I think their offensive line and Daniel Jones, who the fuck knows with them. So Is Cooper going to willingly go sign with them? I mean, Jared
Not
Goff is he going to
willingly.
go willing? Yeah, he's not going to willingly.
I just
sign
brought it up.
Jared
I brought it
Goff,
up
too.
as an NFC.
Right.
That's where you go if you want to stick it to Cowboys. But I mean, you brought up to the Jags, man. As much as I think, what's that?
The Eagles too. I mean, Mike mentioned Godwin to the Eagles. They're another receiver needing team in that division, man. So if he wants to, there's a few options in that division where you can be petty if that's the route he decides to take. But I mean, he just seems like he's a guy about his money. I don't know why. I just seen him at a few Mavericks games when he was there at the sideline, blinged out.
Yeah.
So he just seems like he's a man about his money. And Detroit, they got it. And they're kind of desperate for that position too. So I think that's a pretty decent landing spot. And fantasy wise, you might want to get him in top 5 rounds maybe if he ends up going there. Him and St. Brown is going to be a nice little duo, man.
Yeah, the one last thing I was gonna say is, nice little reunion with Derek Carr and the Raiders, man. I mean, I've been hearing some really. I'm not gonna say it's a done deal or but there's some people out there that know what they're talking about that have mentioned that too, and it makes sense there also. So the Jaguars, I could see because they have the money to do it. Like you said, will he willingly sign there? Who knows? I could see like a guy like Allen Robinson, who we're going to bring up here in a second. I could see him going down to the Jaguars.
Let's do it. Did Josh give his Cooper take? Let's give Josh his Cooper take real quick.
I mean, I'll keep it quick because Michael's fucking last thing he had to say was what I was gonna say. I had reunion with the Raiders written down, but to have a little fun, I also have a second team. I don't know how you two will feel because this team does have a legit second and third option that I'm not aware of what their contract status is. But because of cap space, I actually thought Amari Cooper would be dope as fuck paired with Jamar Chase in Cincinnati. They have a ton of money, and I just feel like if you added a receiver like Amari Cooper to that offense, like it would just who you gonna cover. And
I think T. Higgins just had like 100 and something yards in the Super Bowl. Almost should have been 2 touchdowns, if not 2 touchdowns. I don't know. I think T. Higgins is pretty
I mean,
good.
he also had a 75-yard touchdown that he got off a face mask. So, if he doesn't have that catch and that penalty's called like it should have been, I mean, he's got a 30-yard game.
If the other penalty where he got held in the goal line by Ramsey, it might have been a touchdown.
Yeah, and if the Bengals would have won, they would have fucking won the Super Bowl. So
either way, I think T. Higgins, and even they got their third guy too, and the one they might go tight end if they're gonna go in the pass catching guy. I could see them maybe getting because Uzama's a free agent, but we'll get into the tight end thing later. But I mean, sorry to rain on your parade there. I just don't think he's gonna go to the Bengals, dude.
Hey, I mean, I'm not throwing a fucking parade for where Amari Cooper goes.